What's the difference between a regular emergency fund and a bare bones emergency fund? I'm going to be talking about exactly what my husband and I include in our 6-month emergency fund and how we can extend that emergency fund even farther if we cut it down to bare bones. Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Holly and I love inspiring and empowering others to live a better life by living with more intention. And for me, that means focusing on my 3 pillars of intentional living, which includes budgeting or living more frugally, embracing minimalism, and embracing that eco-tensional lifestyle. So today we're going to be talking about emergency funds, and recently I just posted a video called Life After Debt. I'm going to go ahead and attach it up above so you can see that, and I'll put it in the description as well. And in that video I talked about what was next financially for my husband and I after completing baby step 2, or paying off all of our debt. And our next step after paying off our debt was to fully fund a 6-month emergency fund. Now, prior to paying off debt, we did have an emergency fund, but we just really wanted to beef it up to 6 months. So now we have actually completed our 6-month emergency fund. And we're super excited about this. I think it's a really great amount for us. Now, our next financial focus is saving up for a down payment for a single family home. And after we get into that home, hopefully in a few years, I would love to try to beef up our emergency fund to a full 1 year. I just think that would be the most amazing peace of mind to have a fully funded 1-year emergency fund. But for now, we're sticking with a 6-month emergency fund, and I think that's absolutely wonderful. Where are you on your financial journey? Have you started your emergency fund yet? Do you have a 1,000 starter emergency fund? Do you have a 3-month, 6-month, 1 year or more? Let me know in the comments below. So I wanted to tell you exactly what my husband and I include in our 6-month emergency fund. I know everyone does this differently, and some people start off with a bare bone emergency fund, and that's totally fine. For my husband and I, we decided for our emergency fund, we wanted to include everything that we would typically spend on any given month. So we did calculate in all of our niceties that we normally have every month when calculating our number. Now, I won't be sharing exact numbers, but by telling you exactly what we include in our 6-month emergency fund and how we can stretch that even further with the bare bones, hopefully you'll get a really good idea of what you can include and how you can strip down your budget even further to let your emergency fund stretch that much farther. So let's get right into it. We include in our 6-month emergency fund everything having to do with housing. So that means our mortgage payment, our HOA payment, electricity, cable, internet, water, gas, anything like that is included. Also, anything related to our car. We are lucky enough that we don't have a car payment, so all we have to worry about on a monthly basis is our Easy Pass and our gas. And we are a 1-car family, so that's all we have. Then we have our groceries, of course, and then we also have an entertainment budget, which for my husband and I, 95% of the time, that budget goes towards eating out. That is our favorite form of entertainment. Next, in our lifestyle category, I guess you could say, we have mine and my husband's monthly allowances. We have an amount for haircuts every month. We have a miscellaneous fund, which usually goes to home decor, and we have our cell phone bills. And then also we have our giving category, so all of the monthly charities that we donate to, we still have those funded. And then finally, my husband and I don't use sinking funds anymore because we're at the point of our lives where the vast majority of any emergency that comes up or holiday or whatever it is, we can cash flow it month to month. So we found that we no longer need to have sinking funds. However, in an emergency situation where we don't have money coming in each month, we do need to have a sinking fund. So our 6-month emergency fund does give us a category for a miscellaneous sinking fund, which is going to include things like car repairs or holidays, birthdays, a house emergency, just anything that might come up in that 6-month period that's not necessarily a regular monthly expense. So after figuring out what we have in our regular 6-month emergency fund, I wanted to see how far we could stretch that 6-month emergency fund in a true emergency and just really strip down our budget to bare bones. So let's go over what we can totally get rid of from our budget, or we can scale back on greatly for that bare bone budget. So we can totally get rid of our entertainment budget, which is eating out, sad face. We can also get rid of our miscellaneous budget. I personally don't need a regular haircut, and in a dire situation, I can cut my own hair. These are extensions, so my actual hair is very thin and very easy to cut, so I can do it myself. We can get rid of cable. We can get rid of mine and my husband's monthly allowance. We can even get rid of our giving category. That is something that we don't want to do, but again, this is in a dire situation where we're just trying to pay our regular bills and feed ourselves. So there are two categories in our budget that we can limit the amount of money we spend in those, but we can't totally get rid of them. So one of those is our grocery budget. We can go ahead and bring down our grocery budget. It would just mean I'd have to be much more careful when going grocery shopping, even more so than I am now. And also maybe we just can't have as many niceties in the food department. And then also we can bring down our miscellaneous budget a little bit. I'd probably say in half. Now, if you remember, our miscellaneous budget will cover things such as car repairs, house repairs, but it also covers things like holidays and birthdays. So in a dire situation, we can either greatly reduce how much we spend on things like that, or not at all. I think in a situation like that, friends and family would totally understand, or we can try to make them something free or basically free, like baked goods. My husband and I did have a custom baking business after all. So let's talk about how much this bare bone emergency fund can last us. So if you remember, if we keep all the niceties and regular stuff, that'll last us 6 months. But when cutting back and really stripping down our budget, this can last us 9.5 months, which is over 50% more than our regular emergency fund, which I think is pretty good. Now, I will say my husband and I are already pretty frugal. I think in a situation where someone maybe isn't quite as frugal, their bare bone emergency fund could last them up to a year. But because we do live so frugally already, our really stripped down budget is going to get us that 9.5 months. All right, that's all for today. Don't forget to comment below where you are on your financial journey and if you've started your emergency fund. Thank you for joining the conversation. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye, friends.